The great Tony Segreto joins us here for a little old school, brought to you by Texas Roadhouse Restaurants and Catholic Health Services. Tony, how are you, my good friend?
I am doing awesome. You guys are on a roll. I mean, an absolute roll.
Yes.
I'm telling you, man, you've got your routine down.
All right, so many things, Tony Segreto. I guess now let me get your approach to Thanksgiving, first of all, because I don't know that there's a more dedicated advocate of family life and the spreading of love and hope and good faith than you, Tony Segreto. I get inspired because when I get down, I start thinking, hey, I should be more like Tony Segreto. So how do you approach Thanksgiving? What is the scene going to look like at the Segreto household?
We're circling the wagons. We're having family. Our son arrived here 3 days ago. Our daughter arrived yesterday. And we've all been working together, cooking and having a good time and, getting ready.
Are these the digs in Vermont, by the way? I mean,
yes. We're all meeting in Vermont. We're doing a real kind of country style, kind of real old school type of Thanksgiving.
Did you go out and hunt the turkey, like physically hunt the turkey?
But we did go to the farm down. We have a working farm down the road about not even a half a mile, and they raise turkeys and cows and hogs, and they service the community all year round.
Lubie and I are very familiar with that whole scene.
Right.
We're farmers at heart.
Lubie's looking at me. Yeah,
that's me.
Lubie's great.
He's still mad that you played a prank on him about being on the show.
Yeah, I know. He's. Do you even own a rake, Lubie? Do you own a rake?
No, I have a hose. I do have a hose and a shovel for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Don't ask.
I've been victimized by the rake and also been hosed many times.
Yes. Anyway, so we went to the farm and we ordered our turkey, picked it up the other day, and we get our eggs from there, and it's going to be a real great family. We're very grateful and very, I don't mean I'm not going to get sappy here. It's 5 seconds. We're very grateful.
Well, we have the violin background.
No, we're not going to do that.
But
you know what? We're just very grateful of what we have, and we're hopeful that those who aren't as fortunate can be more fortunate. That's it. So we're excited.
Very good. You didn't give him time to get to the music.
I know, I missed it.
Good. I try to beat the music. But I will tell you this. I will tell you that we're all contributing something to the meal, right? My daughter's doing something. My wife is obviously the master. Our son is really, really amazing in the kitchen. And, I sit there and taste everything, and then I weigh in and finish my little part of. So.
All right. Now, will you watch all 3 pro games in their entirety? You will.
Yes.
Really?
Bell to bell.
But here's the thing. It depends.
I mean, you can't catch them all, obviously.
No.
I think
our big focus tomorrow will be the early games and then the Egg Bowl. I mean, I think we're really excited about the Egg Bowl to see how that plays out. I think it's a pivotal game for the bowl picture, for what we're trying to do, to see what's going to happen with Orange Bowl. I'm getting ready to go to Cincinnati next week for the championship game, the AAC championship game.
Nice.
On one of those scouting missions, that all the guys in the orange jackets are at the thing, just partying, eating lobster tails and in the suite. Excellent, Tony. That's why you're on these committees. The free food.
Exactly. Come on, man.
I always used to love that when you would have the Orange Bowl committee or whatever committee happened to be on hand, and you'd see like a zillion guys wearing the jacket that was emblematic of whatever ball they were representing, and they were already scouting like Notre Dame versus USC in LA. I mean, even though they knew neither of those schools were ever going to play in their ball game, but they would find a way to get the freebie.
Well,
trip.
you know what it is? It's really all about relationships. It's all about, meeting with the coach, meeting with the athletic director, keeping your bowl game and what you do top of mind, getting to know them a little bit better, because it's not just about this year. It's about the years down the road. And I think that, in light of where we are with this new college playoff system, and, in light of the last poll, Cincinnati just beats ECU on this weekend, and the next thing you know, it's Houston for the championship game, and they can get into the Final Four. They may be one of our games. We have a semifinal game with the Orange Bowl. So
how do you feel about
they
that?
wind up?
I mean,
about Cincinnati.
Yeah.
I think that they deserve all of the recognition that they're getting. I'm sort of wondering how they're going to play when they're on the big stage. Okay. They were on a big stage with Notre Dame and showed up.
Yep.
I don't think Notre Dame I think if they played Notre Dame today, Notre Dame would win.
Yeah, they weren't the same Notre
really
Dame.
do.
They were like the first month of the year, they were a disaster.
Notre Dame was staggering early in the year.
They were on the ropes.
FSU. Yeah.
They were on the ropes, and that's why you got to give credit to guys like a Brian Kelly and guys like the coach Lou Fickell at Cincinnati. These guys maintained. They got better. Yep. They got better as the year went along, and I think you got to give those coaches a lot of credit. There's a part of me that said this is going to be fun to have Cincinnati in. Let's see how they do. Yep. And there's another part of me that's going, you got an Oklahoma State sitting there. You got some teams there that play some tough schedules.
Notre Dame.
And Notre Dame too. But I think Notre Dame is more, people are looking at how they're playing because, they played a Georgia Tech team that was, when they played Virginia, they didn't have the quarterback. They're going to kind of nitpick at that. But meantime, they're looking at Cincinnati. But it's going to be fascinating too, Michigan and Ohio State, to see how that plays out and where one of those teams ends up. So there's still a lot of football to be played, but I'm looking forward to it.
All right. Dan Mullen gets canned.
Yeah.
He's already the
surprised.
13th guy to get canned this year during the course of the season among college football coaches. 13 guys have lost their jobs during the course of the season. I'm not a big advocate, Tony. You'll find this surprising, as cynical as you would, assume that I am. But I'm not a big advocate of a guy has half a bad season or, loses a couple of games and immediately everybody's calling for his head because this was a guy that had a real good year for the Florida Gators last year. I don't know what happened. I mean, it was an Ed Ogeron thing where, probably not the best thing to be caught, by the chancellor in bed with his wife, whatever that was.
Well, I think in Mullen's case, I God forbid we venture down that road, but I do think that there were extenuating circumstances. I think there were other issues going on that were paramount that made them pull this trigger. I agree with you. I don't think you fire a coach because he had one bad year. I'm totally in agreement with you. But I think in Mullen's case, it was a different situation. I think there was more to it than what we saw. There are some think about the jobs that are out there. The LSU job, the Florida job. Just
USC.
The USC job. Great job.
TCU, not even a terrible job.
And SMU is not a terrible job. It's great facilities.
Are they still on a death penalty, SMU? It seems
no,
like that was just yesterday, right?
No, but they're an up and coming school. They have available coaching positions now. I think there's going to be a lot of movement. I think there's going to be some unbelievable bidding wars. There's the Stoops come out of retirement. Does Napier get exactly what everybody's expecting him to get? Where does Napier wind up?
Lane Kiffin's going to take two of the jobs.
He
is rumored to be getting every job. Like the first picture you see is one of Lane Kiffin.
Brian Kelly too. Brian Kelly just flat out came out and said, "Listen, I am staying here at Notre Dame. I don't know what you guys are talking about."
We've heard that before, though, from a lot of people. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be the case.
Right, exactly. So I think there's going to be a lot happening, and it's going to be an exciting couple of weeks. I can tell you this. I'm looking forward to these last 2 weeks, and I have to say. Since my daughter went to FSU, and Lubie is an FSU guy, Mike Norvell has done one heck of a job of turning this program into a team that may wind up in a bowl. And every single week they play competitive football. And here's Lubie, right? Lubie wanted to fire him 2 weeks into
wanted to hire him.
First year.
He didn't want him in the first place.
Tony was talking to me after
that.
I'm like,
a punk move all the way around. A cop out. And he was a big Willie Taggart fan when he got hired there.
I was.
Yeah. I love Willie Taggart. Willie Taggart's a great guy. Sometimes, great guys don't necessarily make great head coaches. There's nothing to do with the human being and the personality of that person. And maybe they just don't belong in that role. How many assistant coaches have we seen? And Defo, especially you and me, we've been around, long enough. Collectively, we've been around about half a century or 2 centuries. The assistant coach, who's this great assistant coach, never quite makes it on the sideline as a head coach. How many?
Larry Coker.
It happens all the time.
Although Coker, how can you denounce Coker when he won like 23 straight games or whatever that was? Yep. And then loses on a bogus call against Ohio State. And that, what was it? Craig Krenzel? Was that the guy's name? Lance Krenzel? Craig Krenzel?
Yes.
And I mean, a lousy, a chump quarterback. I mean, a guy that was okay on a college level was never going to amount to anything professionally. We have nothing but professional studs on the University of Miami team. They win the game and they take it away. Otherwise, Coker goes down historically. I mean, think about that. It's back-to-back undefeated seasons with a national championship team, and then it turned out he couldn't coach.
Yeah. You know, by the way, you talk about the Gators. I think I'm not sure if I'm going to get this right, but since Urban Meyer, the coaches that they've had have lasted 5 years or less, and they've all had successful years or two, and then just fall flat on their face.
Yeah.
Every single one of them.
Yeah, McElwain.
So I mean, there's some cultural issues.
McElwain turned out to be a wacko, though. I mean, nobody anticipated that because I remember seeing McElwain in an interview, Tony, at like the SEC Media Day.
Days.
Okay, so I'm watching this guy on TV, and he had just been named the Gator coach, and he was in his first season. I thought, wow, I mean, how impressive is this guy?
Yeah.
And then a couple of years later, he's like a raging lunatic. And, you know, they had no choice but to part ways with him, and he had good success early. Will Muschamp, I guess, was in that spot and had some success. And then this Dan Mullen looked like he had everything going. You couldn't have been happier with this guy just a year ago.
Yeah. Yeah, but Mullen, too, has been a little bit of a loose cannon,
He's been
right?
weird.
Oh, nuts. I mean, he's in Ron
so-
DeSantis' pocket here. He wants to spread COVID across the universe here.
Yeah.
Take
And
the
then-
team
and
to
then
China
there's
and bring it back to Wuhan. I mean, whatever you can do to spread this disease last year. He was a maniac.
Yeah, and then there's this question about what's going to happen at Miami. We don't know what's going to happen at Miami.
Come on, Tony.
But what are you
know.
hearing? Like, what's going on?
Come on,
Because
Tony. You know.
Nothing can be, listen, it's pretty simple, guys.
You're here for a reason, kid.
Nothing's going to happen until an athletic director is brought in.
okay.
And who's that going to be?
Me, you,
Yeah, exactly.
Lubie.
Joe
Three of us
Sagacki
together.
takes
Sagacki.
over the AD's chair and turns the whole football program around and is forever remembered as a hero for
I think
resurrecting
that,
this program to its previous level of greatness.
I think getting the critical AD is going to be imperative, and I think that's what they're doing. And I think
So
they're doing
who's
a
out there?
really
I
good
mean,
job.
who's
There's a
hot
lot of-
in the AD category? I wouldn't know. I
I
really
mean,
wouldn't.
they're all. I mean, just pick the schools. I mean, if Dan Radakovich, that comes his name comes to, you know.
See, you're ahead of me. I couldn't
I
even
don't know
name
who
an
that
AD from another school.
Well, no, he used to.
They used to be
he
more
at
well-known.
Miami.
Yeah.
He used to be at Miami. He had, you know, he's the AD at Clemson. I mean,
Oh,
guys
wow.
like that, you know.
Oh, good.
No, I mean, I'm not throwing a name out there. Trust me, I don't know.
Come on,
anything
Tony.
about
You're
this.
on the committee. You're
Yeah.
on the board of trustees.
No, I don't know. I
Yes.
don't know this. I don't know that at all. I'm just
You
saying,
haven't been asked to advise anybody on the search?
not as of
Tony
yet.
Segreto, with your background in sports,
Not as of
incredible.
yet.
Go ahead, Lubie.
Well, I was
I'm
going to
not
say is
saying
Manny, the two things I would say is first you hear Alonzo Highsmith a lot to be like, run the football, but not the
Oh,
AD.
Alonzo Highsmith.
So I don't know
There's a
what
good
that is.
choice,
Well,
right?
he's with the Green Bay Packers for a long time, and he did personnel, and he's kept an eye on the college world, and he still is big and highly involved with UM. And then with Manny, I know you sort of defended him over the years, and I don't think he's horrible. I just don't know of him as a head coach. Like, is there a chance he stays? Like, I'm hearing, because of the way the coaching candidates are out there, there's not a great crop. And that, like we were talking about, there's 3 or 4 big time jobs. Like, I love UM fan. It's not UF. It's not LSU. It's not USC. It might not even be VT, the way VT's found its niche in college football and actually has decent money, especially when it comes to streaming. Like, there's not 5 great candidates. So whatever, a lot of people forget this part, but like, if you're going to get rid of a guy, you need a better guy or gal to take their spot. Who's that person? Like, that's my problem.
Yeah, well, you need somebody who understands the program, who understands the area, who understands the culture. You know, Miami's in a position now. First of all, the people leading the search are incredible people. They're extremely intelligent. They know what they want. They know what they're looking for. And when they find it, they will know it. They're doing they're going to make sure that they don't make a mistake.
Who's in charge of this thing? Like Shalala? I mean, she's gone. Here's the thing, Tony. This just struck me, and you can relate to this very easily because it was always weird, and I don't know if this happened to you during your news or sports career, because they had the same kind of people in charge there. Bernie Rosen was running the show. But we've been subjected, I mean, like an out-of-town program director will be hired at a radio station. And they have no idea. You mentioned some of the parameters, like they have to understand the program and the needs and the market and all of that. This is almost incomprehensible, this sports market. And, if part of the AD's job also is to, resurrect interest in the program and get fans in the stands
and
make it look good. I mean, a kid
Absolutely.
sees a half-empty stadium there, cheering, hey, how about, as the Hurricanes, run up 55 on somebody, but it doesn't look as thrilling as some of these other opportunities where, I mean, let's face it, even as you were saying at FSU, I mean, the place is going to be rocking. How intense is this Michigan-Ohio State crowd going to be? I mean, a kid's going to be attracted to that. Who wouldn't want to be on the big stage?
Absolutely. Listen, when athletic directors need to be the type of individual, man or woman, who when they walk into a room, people notice.
Yeah.
Right? People stand up.
Yep.
They understand who this person is. They're dynamic. They're charming. They're extremely intelligent. They know how to handle all. What is the AD's job? The AD's job is not only to fundraise, right, and to make sure that everybody knows what's going on with the program, but the
Joe,
AD,
how are the children? Yeah,
but the AD is the coach of the coaches.
Yeah.
He or she is the head coach of the coaches. So that's what's important. That's where we need to keep everything in mind as to how we make our next move at Miami and at the other schools that, people have a rooting interest in, whether it's Florida, Florida State, or listen, FAU, FIU, wherever your interests are, who's going to be the next person in.
All right. You've told us nothing. I mean, he's kept everything.
Yeah, what is that?
He knows, man. You can look at him. People, if you're watching on Ion Channel, you're looking at Tony Segreto, and he has some idea what the
He's
answers
not
are
on the
to these
board.
questions.
They're sending him to go to the
They're sending him to
championship
Cincinnati.
game.
I mean, to watch the championship
not
game
just
there
some
with
schmank.
Houston. As a representative of the Orange Bowl committee, and he's going to try and tell us that he has no idea, whether Manny Diaz is coming back. All right, Tony, be that way. Play the ponies in style at Champions, the outstanding simulcasting room at beautiful Hialeah Park. Yes, the grand old lady of thoroughbred racing has never been more vibrant, and you can wager on the races from the top tracks around the country while enjoying a cocktail at the Brass Rail Bar or any of the fine food served throughout the facility. If poker is your game, you're covered in style, and you can play all your favorite Vegas-style games, including blackjack, craps, and roulette, in Hialeah Park's sizzling hot casino. Get a player's card when you walk through the door for all kinds of generous amenities, including our favorite, free play, when you come out to the ultimate casino and entertainment destination, Hialeah Park. Tony, all right, and we mentioned a couple of things on the college football slate. We got nothing out of Tony in terms of his inside information, University of Miami, but we'll just roll right past that.
Okay.
All right. So we're trying to come up with the Turkey Day parlay on the pro games. You say you're going to watch them all. You're going to be engaged in them all. And we know your degenerate tendencies are such that even with a federal judge shooting down the ability to wager on these games legally, although it's still happening, right? All you got to do is cross 441, and then boom, I'm on the reservation. Go ahead. Send it in there. Joe, what do you want? The Bills? For what? Exactly. 2000? Anyway, all right. So let's go one at a time here. I know you're with me because you're looking for the Lions to finally break through. I think
they're ready. They're ready.
Bears are like a false favorite here, are they not? I mean, they're favored on the road.
I mean, their coach is on the ropes. He's denying that he's going to get fired, for goodness sake.
He doesn't know what he's doing, right?
Yeah, there's upheaval in the locker room. I think the Lions, there's some, plus, you know what, and I know for someone like yourself, especially, who really kind of uses gambling as another form of business.
No, it's ugly business. It's financial drainage.
You can't be sentimental, but at the same time, you're thinking to yourself, my goodness me, the football gods, the Lions and Thanksgiving go hand in hand. You can't have turkey without watching the Lions on TV. You got to give them a break. They got to win on Thanksgiving.
But I don't know. See, this is so strange that and we'll have Mark Lawrence on future editions of the show. And I'm sure, I mean, the stats should be readily available. What is the Lions' record? And I don't know this. On Thanksgiving Day, the assumption is that they have a winning record, especially against the point spread.
Lubie's looking it up as we speak.
Why don't we know this? I mean, how stupid is it to go into a conversation? And I don't know it either, Tony. It's weird, but the assumption is that they've been positive because they've had this big advantage. I mean, they're home on Thanksgiving. The other team has to schlep from wherever they are, usually play on the Lions are too, playing on 4 days rest or 3 days rest. Another horrific consideration by the NFL, who's all about safety, Tony. And I want to make sure that the players are okay. So they add an extra game in, and then they have these guys playing like 4 days after they just got crushed like a grape the previous Sunday. But anyway, you would think it was a huge edge for the Detroit Lions to be at home on Thanksgiving Day. But they also have had lousy teams forever, for the most part.
Let's see. I'm looking it up. The Detroit Lions all-time record on Thanksgiving Day is 37-42-2.
Yeah, they're under 500. We don't
Under
know what
500, I mean, but most of the time too, you have to take into consideration how awful, how just absolutely dreadful most of their teams were during that period of time. I mean, I didn't want to watch that game, and there were only 2 games on, growing up when I was having family Thanksgivings, Tony, and so you were almost compelled to watch that game.
Absolutely.
But by halftime, you were begging your uncle, my Uncle Joey in this case, to, hey, can we go outside and throw a football around or something? I just can't take any more Detroit Lions football. And I was a Jet fan back then. I mean, so, we had our share of ups and downs in that period of time also. But, all right, I'm with you. I want the Lions to win this. For Dan Campbell, we do believe, we're speculating, he will eat a turkey live before the ball game. And that will inspire his team.
You mean he won't even cook it?
No, we're just going to take it live, like kill it right there on the spot, strangle it, break its neck, and then
eat it while it's
whole.
still living.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. A live turkey will be consumed by Campbell, and he's going to go, let's go out there like a bunch of hungry dogs. Right? And they're going to take it to a hapless Bears team.
What did you have before this show started today? Can you?
He has 4 days off in a row, which he never has.
It's the new me, Tony. I'm liberated by these people at Ion Channel. Jack Namer. I mean, Jack, man, he's a sweetheart.
Yeah, he is.
Ever since I came on board here, I've been nothing but happy. That's the way I feel. I really do.
I don't know this person. I don't know who you are.
I love this. Is my favorite holiday. Yeah, favorite holiday by far. What more could you want?
Yeah, you know what? I agree.
Let me just hold this up here for you, Tony. Here, what I'm looking at right now.
Spread.
And that is
exactly
the
spreads.
That's just like Thursday, Friday, and Saturday's action, including a full slate of Wednesday NHL games.
What? You don't have the goal sheet? How come? Where's the
goal sheet?
I don't need any advice on this stuff. I can make my own mistakes. That's the way I look at it. I don't know that. I mean, we're all on board on the Lions, though. What's that?
You make a lot of them. That's why you need the goal sheet to at least get some sort of guidance.
My favorite reference ever to the goal sheet, and this is true, was that, and I've mentioned this many times, I fell in love with this Chinese restaurant on Atlantic Boulevard because I go in there and the guy, Kenny, who was the owner, whose wife was not happy that he was wagering a lot of the family money on various NBA point spreads. But he's got the stack of menus and he's writing down what your order is, and I see underneath it very perilously leaking out the gold sheet.
I love it.
And I realize, and I mean, Asians, I don't want to, this is not any kind of, negative. I mean, it's just true that Asians gamble their brains out. Do they not?
Well, I don't know that.
I
don't know.
Jews, we gamble our brains out. I mean, I don't think I'm saying anything that's going to get us fired.
Every Thursday
is that
night,
not true?
Every Thursday night between my telecasts, I would, after the 6:00 show, we'd have our meetings, and then I'd get in the car and I'd drive to South Miami, and there was a drugstore in South Miami, the only place in town where you could go get your goal sheet, and I'd get it every Thursday night, and then I'd go back to the office and study my goal sheet for the weekend.
And what did you find on this thing? I mean, did you get winners out of it, or was it actually effective?
Yeah, it was effective.
It was great, man.
Because you know what, you have to know what you don't know. And there are certain things that you go on instinct or intuition. There are certain things you go on because you've seen practices, or players, or coaches, or how they react in certain situations. And then there are some where you have a feeling, but you don't know enough, and you can get some sense of what the strengths and weaknesses are.
I'm beginning to believe that's a big mistake. Doing too much research, because I'm looking at this guy.
Exactly.
This guy has buried more people than Fred Hunter.
I was going to say the VSIN
guy, Greg Peterson of the Vegas Sports Information Network. Now, very eloquently written. Prognosis of this game tonight between Syracuse and VCU in the Bahamas Classic, which I believe our good friend Leslie Visser is in attendance.
There, yep.
Is Harvard back in that thing? They weren't on the schedule there. The Duke liked to go to that tournament, but anyway, it blossomed out of nowhere. There was a young lady that we met one time at a Super Bowl, and she had started this thing and talked like Duke into coming there.
Yep.
And so it took off. I think she sold it, made a lot of money by starting this event. And it's kind of taken hold. The Battle for the Bahamas or whatever it is.
Battle of Atlantis.
Battle of Atlantis, right.
Yeah, we were there before.
Not a bad place to be, right, for a basketball tournament. Anyway, Syracuse gave up 100 points to Colgate in their last game. To Colgate, Tony.
How many Boeheims did you say were on the team?
Exactly.
There were like 11 Boeheims on the team, including Buddy Boeheim, who was the best known of the basketball playing Boeheims. You know who Jimmy Boeheim, though? He was on the Cuse team. I want to say his last year as a player was like 67.
Jesus.
You know who his backcourt mate was? Jimmy Boeheim was like a 6'8" guard for Syracuse. And in the backcourt with Jimmy Boeheim was the great Dave Bing.
Wow.
Dave Bing. Remember? Detroit Piston legend.
Yeah.
But anyway, I mean, this guy writes very eloquently. I mean, everything he says makes perfect sense, Tony. And every day we point out the next day that he got buried. So his play tonight, we'll have to watch this one, is to go ahead and lay 5 and a hook with Syracuse over VCU, because VCU doesn't shoot the three very well. All right, so that might be good to know. They're like shooting like 12% from 3-point range. And what are you going to try to do to beat the Syracuse zone? You're going to chuck up a bunch of threes.
Yep.
But this is the same 2-3 zone, Tony, that you played at the Park that just gave up 100 points to Colgate. So
I know
that team laying 5 and a hook.
Well, what does this have to do with Thanksgiving football? Can you?
Well, you were talking about the goal sheet and the logic, and I'm telling you,
into that. I still want to know.
You
morphed
into it with your story about this guy, this Chinese guy, our Asian guy at the Duck House.
Yo, you were the Chinese guy.
You brought it up. We didn't bring up the Chinese guy.
I'm trying to confuse you a little bit, Tony. I'm just I'm saying that the most,
what do you
absolutely
think?
convincing logic often leads you down the wrong path when you're talking about gambling. So you may as well just make your own pick, no?
That's probably true.
Sure.
Overanalyzing ends up going the wrong way a lot of the time. Again, it's not science.
Whatever.
This guy writes brilliantly. These theses,
every time.
You would think he was Bill James talking about baseball.
Every time.
And dead wrong on baseball every game. How many times did we follow this?
We followed it for like weeks.
I think we've resurrected the Abbott and Costello routine and haven't even realized it till now. That's exactly what I
have you convinced that your logic is flawed. That's where we're going. All right, so okay, let's go to the other games here, Tony. We don't want to get too far off path here. So you like the Lions? Lubie likes the Lions. I like the Lions.
That's not good.
Who doesn't like the Lions? I mean, everybody loves them in this ball game, and yet they're underdogs by 3 points at home to the seemingly lifeless Chicago Bears, who I think also might be without Khalil Mack, right? Wasn't he?
He's hurt. Yep.
Out of the last game. So, I mean, that's kind of a devastating blow and a big shot there for the Lions to do something. All right. The other game, Cowboys, I root against the Cowboys in every ball game. When Jimmy was coaching there, I liked him, but once he left and that whole ugliness with Jerry Jones, Jerry Jones trying to put himself in the front there kind of offends me. I don't like the owner that wants to take credit for everything when, he rarely mentions any players like, hello, Jerry, what about Troy Aikman once in a while? Drop his name in there. So, what do you think? Raiders, wild season for the Raiders up and down. And the Cowboys in Dallas, 7 and a hook, Tony Segreto. 7 and a hook.
I always wonder about the teams that travel west to east. I've always had this kind of like this old school mentality that they don't seem to perform as well when they come east as when people go west, or however you want to look at it, depending on how you look at it. I'm going to go with Dallas.
All right, just laying the 7 and a hook. That's simple.
Yeah.
What happened to all the logic from the goal sheet?
You just scared him.
I don't have the goal sheet in front of me. You told me that. I threw it away. I'm doing on my own pick. You told me to pick it.
All right, Cowboys.
Make up your damn mind. Please make up your damn mind. You just told me to throw all that stuff away. So I throw all that stuff away.
Right,
I take my pick, and then you go, where's all the logic? I'm done. That's it.
Exactly.
No, wait, you have another game here to pick,
more.
Tony Segreto. Okay. I mean, I know you're a sick degenerate, and you're going to, bet these games individually over unders and also as a parlay, 2-3 teams, various combinations thereof.
All right, let's go game 3.
All right, game 3. Interesting. New Orleans, I thought they were going to be okay with Jameis Winston. I thought that was a great move. He gets hurt. They haven't really distinguished himself, except to be mostly losers since that time. They've been in some games. I don't know. I mean, they've sort of lost their place in the spotlight that they had in the early portion of the season. And the Buffalo Bills, wow, great mystery team.
I just don't think Buffalo's going to lose 2 weeks in a row. I just don't think that's going to happen. I think Buffalo's going to crush them.
5 and a hook in this one.
I love Buffalo.
Love the Buffalo Bills.
Love the Buffalo Bills. Plus, I'm surprised. I would think now the way the Saints are playing that they would give young Ian Book, the kid from Notre Dame, an opportunity.
Actually, not the worst thing.
Just gave this other kid all this money, man. Taysom Hill.
Yeah,
but they don't play him at quarterback. I don't understand what's wrong with Hill. That's a whole nother.
They'll never put him in a quarterback because then they have to pay him like another $50 million if he takes like 2 snaps. I love that contract.
One step, whatever it is. But no, I love Buffalo. I just can't see them losing 2 in a row. I just don't. I just don't.
Tony Segreto.
So we agree on all of them. This is.
Do we? No, I like.
No, you don't like that. You like the Raiders.
I like the Lions. I like the Cowboys, and I like New Orleans.
I said I like the.
You
Cowboys.
and I, Tony, agree. Defo likes Saints, not Bills. You and I agree.
I don't like the Saints. I just
like
think I think there's something deeper involved there, and has nothing to do with stats or against the spread history or anything like that. It has strictly to do with voodoo. And I believe in New Orleans, if you're in that crowd. There has to be some gypsy that's going to throw a curse on Josh Allen, and he will throw 4 picks and lose that ball game.
Please get Defo some help. There needs the show. The show needs help.
What are you talking about?
I think we need to get a hold of Dr. Somebody. I'm not sure if it's Phil or whoever.
These days, we're all looking for comfort anywhere we can find it. Thank goodness for Landlubbers Raw Bar and Grill in the Plantation location, because they are making sure you are as comfortable as possible. First of all, they're not only open for delivery and pickup. All you have to do is go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both pickup and free delivery. Their hours have changed a little bit. Monday through Thursday from 3:30 to 10. And Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 11:30 to 10. You're going to have the best wings in the world. You're going to have a great burger. You're going to have their amazing soups. Again, Landlubbers, Raw Bar, and Grill. It's nice and easy. Just go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both your pickup and free delivery. Thank goodness for Landlubbers for making you always feel right at home.
Destination Sport Miami is here to revolutionize the sports landscape in South Florida. The largest indoor multifaceted sports complex in North America is on the way, with distinguished leaders of its various sports programs and unparalleled access to the finest indoor training fields and facilities. Destination Sport Miami will set South Florida apart as the destination of choice for elite athletic training and development, and for its dedication to youth programs and sports on all levels. A phenomenal concept and a powerful undertaking, Destination Sport Miami will also be an important commodity in the sports business community as well. Destination Sport Miami, its time has come.